What's up YouTube, Bradley Aidanjohnson here, and I just wanted to do a little video which is going to definitely go on and on and on. So I just wanted to open the floor on this one on what I describe as the fallacy of fat loss in the Western world. We've got this construct, and I think I want to go into a little bit about what a construct is psychologically and how they are built and what they're for. So to try and understand where I'm coming from on this. A construct is something that your mind creates that makes sense but isn't really true, that helps you get through the day. It's what we all do to pretend we are, or our situation is something that it's not. And it just helps us make sense of the world and helps us pretend things are a little bit better than they otherwise are. Everyone's understands the concept and the notion of the most obvious construct with sour grapes. Yeah, everyone understands it. It comes from the idea of the animal reaching for some grapes, trying to get the grapes. I really want those grapes. I'd love nothing more than to get those grapes. Those grapes look delicious. I can't reach those grapes. Whatever I do, I will not be able to reach those grapes. Those grapes were probably sour anyway. That is what sour grapes is, and that's where it comes from. It's a construct that you created for yourself based in nothing that sounds like it's true to yourself and you can believe it, though it's not true, but it does help you get through the day. If the grapes are sour, then you can tell yourself you didn't want them anyway, so all that stuff that you're doing, forget about that. I didn't even want those grapes, screw it. And that is what we apply in the Western world, or the world over, but a lot in the Western world is what I want to focus on specifically, that gets us into this place that we're happy with. And the construct that I'm most specifically interested in right at this moment, right this second now, is this fat loss thing. And it's gone so wildly and completely out of control that it's totally beyond being pulled back. So if one person in the world could listen to this video or the videos I make subsequently or have made in the past or talk to me in person and understand that what I'm saying now is kind of true and they can be changed, one single person on the 7.2 billion strong earth that we live on, I'm cool with that. I'll take it. And the fallacy is that losing weight is A, hard, B, an achievement, and well, I guess you could say C, requires anything at all. It's a nonsense. It's based in nothing. I'm going to give you the best example I have in my life of weight loss and how I understand it to be in work. From when I was a little tiny boy walking around playing with Thomas the Tank Engine, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys and the like, my mum has been doing Jane Fonda-esque workout videos, trying to lose weight, trying to lose fat. And, it didn't start from when I was old enough to perceive it. It's something that I've spoken to her, something that started from the teenage years. And I'm pretty sure anybody watching this video will either A, have done this themselves, or B, know someone very close to them that has done this themselves, which is, and still continues to do it, which is try and lose weight for the entirety of your natural life. So from the second you were, if we can use the term, sexualized, from the second you realize that the opposite sex / people, their attention was important to you, which is quite young, really. I would say 8, 9, 10, 11, in that, different people will experience it differently. From the time that you realize that you require, need, appreciate attention from the opposite sex and things regarding that, even from your peers, but based on what they believe the opposite sex is, even if from the same sex, you'll know someone that has been trying to lose weight to fit into the Western world's ideology of what a person should look like, and so have been trying to watch what you eat, keep training, do whatever to try and stay lean, slim, toned, all these stupid words that we use day to day, to try and look like what you think you have to look like to get through the day. So you've been losing weight your whole life. Now, losing weight is not a thing that requires anything. It requires something to gain weight. If you just sit down in a room, you'll just lose weight and eventually die. In order to gain weight, you actively have to go out and seek food, which is something that much of the third world and places all around the planet experience incredible difficulty with. Many people, villages, places, people have, there's famine, people are starving and dying, and they're not struggling to lose weight. They are struggling to find food to gain weight, because you don't have to do anything to lose weight. You're always losing weight. Losing weight is part of, in the same way if you imagine you're a car How many times have I done this analogy? You imagine your car, you turn the engine on. You don't need to drive anywhere. You don't need to go nowhere. In fact, you don't even need to turn the engine on. The car is always losing fuel. Whether it doesn't matter how long. If you leave that car for a couple of centuries with a full fuel tank, that fuel will not be in that tank anymore. It is always using fuel. Whether it's on or off, it's always going. And that's the way your body works. You just sit down right now, I'm losing weight. Now, in the Western world, we have become so gluttonous and life has become so easy and food has become so ready that rather than celebrating the fact that we've conquered food, we've made it so that food is not a worry for any person. And regardless of what anyone tries to tell me with food banks and anything, that's a nonsense. There is no person in the Western world, at least in my nation that I live in, the United Kingdom, England, London, whatever, that needs to worry about food. You're not going to starve in the Western world. That is a nonsense. That's literally impossible. All things being equal, given normal circumstances. We've conquered food. What we have now is such an abundance of food that is given to us so easily for next to nothing all the time that we can't contain our gluttony. We can't stop eating. We can't stop consuming. We just want more and more and more and more and more and more and more. And it gave birth to this idea that losing weight was like this achievement thing, this thing to strive for, when it doesn't require anything. It just requires you to turn off your gluttony for a few seconds and live like millions of other people do in the rest of the world, and just stop being so greedy. To the point of when people are overweight, that they got there from eating lots of food that was readily available, and they lose lots of weight. My intro video on a lot of things, and other people that have done far more extreme examples of this, these people are held as like, wow, oh my God, that transformation that you made, it's amazing what you did. No, it's not, man. It's not. As someone that's done it, I just paid attention for a little bit. I cooked some food as opposed to my old diet, which was just going out and getting takeaways and whatever and just not caring. And then I was like, oh, okay, let me pay attention a little bit and very slightly restrict, and got leaner to the point where I was fine. And then because I was doing it, I thought, this is fun, let me carry on. And I went all the way to being very, very, very lean, which at a point when you are starving yourself and your mind starts taking over, it does become a contest of willpower. But even when it becomes a contest of willpower, to the vast majority of people that are trying to lose weight and they're fighting their willpower, you're not actually fighting with using your willpower to drive you to a lower weight against like the forces of evil. What you're actually fighting is just your will on another end. You are fighting your ability to be happy with how you are and what you look like. So that's the only contest that's really going on. You're fighting your will to look a certain way that society has perceived, that tells you that you should look like, the way you perceive society to need you to look, is fighting against the need that you have to eat food and be gluttonous. Both of these are just silly Western ideals that came from nowhere, really. So what your whole weight loss journey, your whole contest with yourself that you're essentially having, which is what weight loss is essentially, it's a contest with yourself. Can I restrict what I'm eating? Can I restrict what I'm eating? It's not based on any side of it being good or bad. It's just based on you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. You're trying to look a way that you don't need to look like, in the same way you're trying to fight a greediness that you shouldn't actually even have, if that makes sense. So that's what you're warring against. And this is why I describe it as a fallacy, a nonsense basically, in that it's been created by the Western world that gave birth to an entire industry of nonsense, YouTube videos of nonsense, fit loss contraptions of nonsense, diets and books of nonsense. It's all just nonsense. It's saying to you, would you like to be more greedy or would you like to be more insecure? And all you can do is move along that continuum of greedy and insecure. So I don't look good enough. I don't look good enough. I don't look good enough. Oh, I look good enough. I look good enough. So now I'm not greedy. Oh no, wait, I'm too greedy to think I look that bad. So you just move along this incredibly mentally unhealthy continuum, which is why, and I've experienced this in people that I've trained, helped, transformed, there is no light at the end of this tunnel. And I keep telling people this, that I train, I keep telling you, you're going to get lean, but if all that you have in your life and your confidence is built around how you look, you won't be happy. Because to maintain being that lean, you will have to be that miserable. There's a reason you got overweight and looked big in the first place. You were using the food as a crutch to make yourself feel better. This Western gluttony that we have. Life has gotten so boring and so empty and so easy that all we do is sit around and consume, whether it's computer games, technology, movies, entertainment, whatever it is. We just sit around and consume because we're bored. There's nothing to do. Life is easy for us. So you've been gluttonizing yourself, food. Then you've gotten big and then you've realized, oh my God, I don't like me anymore because I don't look a certain way that makes me feel happy. When people look at me, I don't think they're looking at me the way that makes me feel happy. So then you start getting lean. But without the food, you're sad. And then with all the looking lean and people saying, wow, you're in such great shape, you don't actually feel better because it's not real. It's just something in your head that you've created to make yourself feel better. And in the same way that when you were eating loads and loads of food, you didn't actually feel better. You were just using that like a drug to make yourself feel better. And this continuum, once you're on it, there is no light at the end of this tunnel. And it is the vast majority of my subscriber base and the things that they send me. I get pictures sent to me from people that look perfectly fine. I get pictures sent to me of people that are leaner than I've ever been, asking me how to get leaner, saying they can't lose this bit of body fat here, pointing at things, saying, look at that there. There's nothing that can happen. You're already miserable. The reason you're miserable is because you're not eating anything, so you're miserable. And you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're still not there because your perception of how you look changes every day, so you're still miserable on that end. If you ate more food, the food would fill in a little bit of that gap and you'd feel a bit better, but then you'd look in the mirror and you wouldn't be as lean and you'd be miserable. And people just swing along this continuum and it's so miserable. And it's something that, pulling back to the people that have been losing weight their entire life, like my mum, I speak to my mum now and she's losing weight. My mum's over 50 years old and she's been doing it since she's like, let's say 15, 16 to make it really, simple. That's a lot of years to be doing the exact same thing and still have found no happy within it. And this thing just needs to stop. And I don't really have all the answers. It's more I'm opening it up for debate and see what people think about it as I take this channel in a newer direction that is more my thoughts that I'm having on this topic. But why is it that all of our nations, our planets nearly, when the women in the Western world feel, shut up phone, let me tell you. Why is it that all our nations' women feel so inadequate? Why is it now moving to the guys? Why is it so that image has been typically associated with being more of a feminine trait? Why is it moving to guys? Why do guys feel so inadequate now? Why are they looking at YouTube videos of people that are so aesthetic and wishing they could be like that, following people on Instagram? Why is it people that train now and get a little bit leaner are so confident in the fact they've achieved practically nothing but feel like they've done some amazing thing because they restricted their calories for a few weeks and they saw visible abs for a bit, and it's like, wow, look what I've done now, and they get all these followers. What is going on in our heads that have made it so our confidence is just so low that we feel like we're so little, that these minute, minuscule, irrelevant things are such an accomplishment? What the fuck happened to us? I don't understand it. What happened to us? As a race that controls the planet, that is responsible for some of the greatest feats this planet will ever see, for some of the greatest buildings and things. It's like there are so many people now, there is no space for everyone to be recognized, and no one has it in them to go out and actually achieve something, to say, look, I built that, I made that. If it wasn't for me, this wouldn't exist. If I didn't happen, this would never have happened. That is my mark. Look what I did. I am proud of that. And everyone is trying to look for it in places where it just can't exist. You're not going to get so lean that your problems are solved, that you have this like confidence spur out of nowhere. You can get a little bit of that faker confidence, which means you can take your shirt off and be a little bit happy with what you see, but you're still gonna be the same dude, you're still gonna be the same girl, you're still gonna be the same you. You're still gonna know that to do that you have to stay really hungry and you hate it, and I will again bring it to people that I've trained. I know personally people that I have trained, the kind of Instagrams that you, or YouTube channels that you probably follow, if you're watching this, follow them and wish you look like that. You're writing WCW, Woman Crush Wednesday, Man Crush Wednesday, wishing you could look like that person, thinking, and they take all the pictures and they're smiling, they're lifting it up, and you see the abs and they're ripped, and you're like, wow, I wish I could look like that person. But then they talk to the person they confide in, which is their coach very often, which would be me, and they'll say to me, I just hate it, I'm miserable, I just feel like ending it all, Everything is just coming down around me. I can't take it anymore. I'm so hungry. I'm so famished. I'm not good at anything. And you just, the reality of how these people really feel. You got people following these people thinking, whoa, that's the life. I wish I could be like them. But more often than not, these people are in a really, really, really dark place, because oh, look at me on Instagram, all these followers that you get, all those compliments that you get from people, they amount to nothing. I mean, how many times in my life has somebody said to me, oh, that picture of your torso, you look XYZ adjective of good. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. It's not something that I can draw any confidence from. I know I did that, you know, and I know what I did to do it, and I know it wasn't very impressive, and I know anyone could do it, and I know I've made other people do it, so like, how impressive could it be if anyone can do it? It's not a big deal. So that, I can't take any confidence from that. So that doesn't make me happy. So if I don't have anything else in my life, and I do have other things in my life, I can say, look, I did that. I'm proud of that. I do have many things in my life I can say I'm proud of that. But if you don't, all you have is that facade, that bravado, that, oh, look at me in front of the camera, and behind it, you're miserable. Because being in a calorie depleted state, which is what it needs, if you're going to stay lean, if you're going to, you know, it's not just about, oh, I got lean. It's you want to stay there, right? You want to be lean, and look at me, I've lost weight. If you want to stay in a position of weight where you are lower than you naturally gravitate to, you will always have to go without in terms of food. You will always have to restrict yourself. And the better you look, the leaner you look, the more restriction is required to maintain it all the time, every single day of your life. If you have to count calories, count macros, weigh your food, and feel hungry every night, and be drinking loads of sugar-free drinks and chewing gum all the time and eating Quest bars and all this crap to maintain the state that you're in, accept you're gonna have to do that for the rest of your life. And as miserable it makes you feel every day, you will be that miserable every single fucking day. And that is part of what I want to get into in this new stage of the channel. Why would you put yourself through that? What is lacking so much that you need to do this crazy thing that is not even an achievement, that is only feels like an achievement because of this fallacy of the Western world of, oh, look, I've lost weight, congratulate me for it. The Biggest Loser shows like this, look how much weight I lost. All you had to do was not eat. Congratulations, man. You didn't eat. There are villages the world over where they have no choice but to not eat. Does anyone walk in there with a little trophy and say, hey man, you haven't been eating for a long time. Here you go, here's this. That's called starvation. Congratulations, you went without. It's not impressive. And I just want to get into this whole fat loss thing and try and get people out of a habit of hope. If I can just get one person out of the habit of losing weight for the remainder of their natural life, I'll be like, cool, I'll take it. Because it's just really sick. It's really sick, and that's what I want to open the floor with. I know 1,000,001 people are going to wildly disagree. Let me see how long this video is. Long as fuck. I know a lot of people are going to wildly disagree, and I like the idea of that. I want people to disagree and tell me what they think of these things, whether I'm belittling their achievements if they feel that way. Don't just get upset and dislike the video. Dislike the video, leave a comment telling me why I've belittled your achievements, why I'm stomping over your what you feel like you've done and you feel like you should be given credit for. And I just like to remind you, I'm talking from a position of having done it in others and seen where it goes, and having done it in myself and I've seen what it is, and I'm not very impressed by what I did. And it's why I don't use the intro anymore. I don't like it. I know it gets more views and it makes more people want to be on the channel and stuff, and you know, that'd be great for growth and be great for me financially ultimately, because you know people from this YouTube do become clients sometimes. But I just don't like it. I don't like putting it forward as a thing for people to want to attain, to have to attain, to feel they need to be. I think that's whack. And yeah, I just want to know what people think. Yeah, so that's it. Peace.